Hello and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. I'm currently here in Hay-on-Wye Castle and we see here the town of Hay-on-Wye down there. Now if you didn't know, Hay-on-Wye famous for being the town of books. About half the buildings you see out there are indeed bookshops, and today I'll be visiting all the bookshops and trying to find a book for each coin that features a book or a novelist or an author. So for instance, we know there's a Charles Dickens coin. I'm going to find a Charles Dickens book. We've got Agatha Christie. I'm going to find Agatha Christie, and so on for all the stories, novels, novelists, authors, poets, and playwrights. Shakespeare, of course, a classic. We're going to find them all. That's the challenge today. So I'm going to go into town, try and find a book from every author, and then if I find them all or not, we'll have a little list at the end of the video to make it more factual, showing all of these literary themed UK coins. So, enough talking, let's get some reading and searching going on. Book mode activated. Right, so we begin with Sherlock Holmes, the novels, of course, by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Here we have a section dedicated to these Sherlock Holmes novels, stories, and books. We can see all the different titles of all the different stories of Sherlock Holmes. And where else do we recognize these titles from? Well, of course, on the coin. These book titles surround the famous silhouette of Sherlock Holmes here on the Sherlock Holmes 50p piece. Our first coin here with the books it relates to. So there we go, a great start. Moving on from one famous character to a very famous author, Charles Dickens, one of England's foremost famous writers. We have all his books here again, a section dedicated to him with titles you will of course recognize. And again, similar to the 50p, we will recognize them from the coin because the portrait of Charles Dickens on his coin is actually made up of words which are the titles of all his books. As we can see there, A Christmas Carol and so on, all the famous books making up his silhouette, his face on the £2 coin, here behind, or in front rather, of his book section in Hay-on-Wye. Moving on now, Jane Austen. We have the Jane Austen novels we know and love here, the famous titles again of her books. And of course, here we have the coin, another £2 coin here in a bunk pack this time, celebrating Jane Austen, and again, her silhouette features there to the centre of the coin. So there we go. Once again, a lovely coin with the books. That is the books there. Now then, on to our next author. Let's have a little look around. As we can see, this is a very large shop. We're currently in what's known as the cinema bookshop. So it used to be an old cinema, and as you can see, converted into rather a large collection of books. So I should have my work cut out for me here, having a peruse, having a rummage around, finding these books. And here's one. This is the Diary of Samuel Pepys. Now, I don't have this £2 coin. Ones that I don't have, I'll use a picture for. You can see there the picture of the Samuel Pepys Diaries £2 coin. And there we have it with Samuel Pepys Diaries. Very cool. Another one I don't have is H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells, of course, here at the H.G. Wells section, most famous for 3 books. We've got The Time Machine, The War of the Worlds, and The Invisible Man, all 3 showcased on the £2 coin, as we see to the right. But there we go. We then have Shakespeare, one of probably, if not the most famous English author and playwright. We have here his complete works, and a very large book this is indeed. Of course, everyone who's ever been to school will know of, I'm sure, some Shakespeare, a very still relevant person. And here we have him on the £2 coin there, one of the Shakespeare £2 coins with the William Shakespeare complete works. So there we go, the coin with the book. That one is ticked off. On to the next. Next up we have Shelley. That is Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley, another famous author. And what do we know Mary Shelley best for? That is right, of course, her famous or most famous book is indeed Frankenstein. And we have here the Frankenstein £2 coin. Again, one not personally in my collection as of this video. But there it is, a lovely coin commemorating Frankenstein, the work of Mary Shelley. Right, next up onto George Orwell. Here we have the George Orwell section. We can see some of his works here and pictures of him on the books, which you'll recognise from the bunk pack, because there he is on the bunk pack. And here we have the coin. His most famous book, of course, 1984, providing inspiration for the coin there. Big Brother is watching you. Of course, also famous for Animal Farm, amongst other titles. But there we go, his bunk pack in the book section. So I continue now, looking around, browsing to find more of these relevant books. There's over 200,000 books in this shop alone, but I have found amongst them a Sir Walter Scott section. Here we have the works of Sir Walter Scott, and as you can see there, Scott's journal. He was a journalist, a novelist, a playwright, a poet. I think he was all kinds of literary things. And now he is also has the honour of being commemorated on a UK £2 coin. There it is. There we are, novelist, historian, and poet. 250 years anniversary of the 2021 coin there. So there we go. Here's £2 coin. Again, not currently in my collection, but we have there the coin in front of the section of his works. Brilliant stuff. Right then, embarrassingly, the next one I have the coin, but I did forget. Robert Burns. Here we have it. The collection of all Robert Burns's books and works and so on. And of course, we all know the Robert Burns £2 coin. I did forget to bring it, unfortunately. Bit of a shame, but there it is, superimposed on the shelf with his books. J.R.R. Tolkien, now I did bring and do have. Here it is. Writer, poet, scholar, J.R.R. Tolkien, famous for Lord of the Rings, which I'm sure is somewhere there amongst all the books on his shelf here, and there's the coin beside it. Right then, next up we have down here the poetry section. I did find, look at this, Wordsworth, and then look further, Wordsworth, a little mini section here of William Wordsworth's works. And there it is, William Wordsworth, the £5 coin. Again, one I do not have, but a lovely design and an overlooked coin, one that's not not everyone knows of that coin. It's was quite unpopular with the release, but now has become rather collectible. Anyway, on now to Beatrix Potter, a very famous one. We all know of Beatrix Potter, the coin there, and all of her characters having their own individual coins as well that you can find in your change. So there we go. A little bonus one here. I didn't plan to do this one, but I did just sort of spot a Robin Hood book there. And we do know there is a Robin Hood £5 coin. It's a little bonus book there. We then have Harry Potter, of course, a famous book, probably one of the most well-known fiction books of this video. And then we have the coin there. And there are other many coins. There's been a whole series of Harry Potter coins released on 50p. So there we go. That's that one ticked off. We then have the Agatha Christie section here, with all of her famous murder mystery books. And here's a mystery. Who left this £2 coin there? Well, hey, that is the Agatha Christie £2 coin in the Agatha Christie section. Then we have the Mr. Men, classic childhood book characters. We have all the different Mr. Men here in this section, as we can see. And then just over here to the left, I've put the Mr. Men £5 coin. There we go. We can see Mr. Happy there on the coin. And that is in the, should have been Mr. Bump. Oh, hey. There we go, but Mr. Happy, or a Mr. Men coin in the Mr. Men section. Very nice to get that shot. Cool. On to the next. Again, sticking with childhood characters, we have Paddington. Michael Bond's A Bear Called Paddington. And here we have it, a Paddington 50p. So there he is on the coin, waving his flag, and there he is on the book, looking very cute with his coin right next to him. There we go. Very nice. Another one ticked off. Then we have the Alice's Adventures in Wonderland book by Lewis Carroll, as we can see there. Another famous story, another one worthy of a coin. And here we have it, the Alice's Adventures in Wonderland £5 coin. I don't have it in real life, unfortunately, but next to the book. We then have the Gruffalo, another classic childhood children's character. There he is, the Gruffalo, and there is the Gruffalo 50p. Again, one I do not have. I don't really collect the 50p's per se, so a lot of them I don't have, including the next one up, Zog, a recent release. Here is Zog, the book, and there is Zog, the coin. Very nice. The book with the coin for another childhood character. Brilliant stuff. Then we have this book here, the Holy Bible, as we can see, a lovely old big Bible there. And then we have a coin on top, and I'm sure you can guess what coin it is. Let's zoom in. It is, of course, the King James Bible, £2 coin with a King James Bible. Very nice stuff. Then we have next Narnia, the Chronicles of Narnia, Tales of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, all those kind of books. And here it is, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe on a 50p. Again, I don't have the coin, unfortunately, next to the book. So there we have it. There are all the books I managed to find relating to authors and stories commemorated on UK coins. I will now, as I found most of them, I will now give you the full list chronologically in denomination order. So 50s, so 10p's, 50p's, £2 and £5. I'll give you that full list to make it a bit more of a factual video, giving you all our British authors and books on UK coins. 10p's is B for Bond, Ian Fleming's famous book of James Bond. Rather than wasting time with a big list, let's just scroll through on the app which ones you can see are literary themed. We have got the public libraries and dictionary 50p, of course, literary book related themes there. Carrying on, we've got Benjamin Britten, more of a composer, that's very loosely book related. We then got the Beatrix Potter, as we saw, And then all her well, not all of her characters, but most of her characters have their own coin. As we see, Puddle Duck, Peter Rabbit, Squirrel Nutkin, Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, Benjamin Bunny, Jeremy Fisher, Tom Kitten, Taylor Peter Rabbit. We then have the Snowman by Raymond Briggs, the original book, again, literary themed. I believe it was, yeah, it must be, I think it was a book. Flopsy Bunny, Mrs. Tittlemouse, Peter Rabbit again, Taylor of Gloucester, Paddington ones, which we saw and we did, more Snowman. What else we got? The Gruffalo, did the Gruffalo, more Paddington, another Peter Rabbit there, more Gruffalo, Sherlock Holmes, which we did, the Snowman again, Winnie the Pooh, A.A. Milne, the classical Winnie the Pooh books, didn't find any of those in Hay on Wye, but we have Christopher Robin and Piglet as well. Another Peter Rabbit. We then, what else we got? A little bit of a gap here. Not seeing it. Oh, another Snowman one there. More Winnie the Pooh characters with Owl, Tigger, and the Winnie the Pooh and friends. And then none of these, none of those. More Snowman, Harry Potter. Oh, there we go, two Harry Potter ones. We've seen the Harry Potter ones. More Winnie the Pooh there. Eeyore. So more Winnie the Pooh. Another Snowman one. There's the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which we also did see. We've got more Harry Potter here. And I think that is everything. Oh no, we've got the Gruffalo's Child and another Snowman one. More Harry Potter. More Harry Potter. And that is everything. Oh no, because it's just there. We've got the Zog. We did do Zog. And Mary Poppins. Forgot about that one. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Whoops. Professional videos here, guys. Where is it? There. Mary Poppins as the final one this year issued, which we did not find also. Let's have a look at the £2 coins. You're also getting a glimpse here into my my collection. Right, what ones are literary themed? We've got none of these, none of those, none of these. Darwin did obviously publish the, Origin of Species, but that's not what he's not an author. That's just his scientific papers. The Bible one we did. Auld Lang Syne, Robert Burns we did. Charles Dickens, of course, the classic. Of course, we did that one. None of those, none of those, none of those. Shakespeare, of course, again, classic. We did do that. Jane Austen, we did do at the start of the video. None of these ones. Frankenstein, Mary Shelley, we did do. Samuel Pepys, we did as well. Agatha Christie, we did. H.G. Wells, we did. Sir Walter Scott, we did. Tolkien, we did Tolkien. And that is everything. Oh no, and George Orwell, which we also did do. So there we go, £2. And then very finally, let's do, where are we? £5 coins. Have a quick run through. Most of these are not literary themes. Can we spot any going quite fast? Nothing yet. Well, we've got the James Bond ones again, so we did cover that in the 10p, but there's also James Bond £5 coins. William Wordsworth, we did do that one as well, the poet. Alice in Wonderland, we did that. Now there's a Peter Rabbit one, which we did do. Got the Mr. Men coins, which we did cover. And then anything else? Peter Rabbit once again. Little John and all the Robin Hood stuff we did. I did quickly mention that. There he is, Robin Hood. And I think that is everything right down. Yes, so there we go. There we have it, all the literary themed coins. So there we go, a literary numismatic adventure here in Hay on Wye, finding pretty much all of the books and novelists celebrated on our UK coins. We have the full list there as well for your reference. So that was very good fun for me. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, a bit of a different thing than usual, and we'll see you next time on Bits and Bobs for some more coins. Bye for now.